this week, Chloe's all like famous and shit. She's in an advert and everything. David likes to watch kids, and I fail a drug test twice. It's bad. So let's strap down, let's strap in, and let's do this.
This is just another trucking podcast.
Hello, this is Just Another Trucking Podcast. I am your host, Tom, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friends, co-hosts. We have David, who is convinced that he can predict weather by the sway of overhead power lines, and Chloe, who is really into polka music at the moment, like really into it.
Into what
That's
music?
that kind of, yeah. I mean, kind of, if we say that, I don't know why I just put a plus in the thing, by the way.
No. What music? What
It's
music?
polka music.
Polka?
It's like
Polka.
yeah, it's like it's like that kind of classic Russian sort of.
Oh yeah. That's totally
Like,
what I'm into at the moment. Yeah.
yeah. It's
How
kind of
do
like
you know?
it. I think
He's got his
anyways.
ways.
I'm pretty sure we're doing this joke, by the way.
Yeah. I know, but I was like, what is that?
I would probably pronounce it polka.
Polka music.
Polka, isn't that how it's spelled? Polka or something like that?
Yeah, it's basically like Borat style music in the background.
Oh yeah.
It's that kind of thing, like umpa stuff. Nailed it. Fucking
There you
nailed
go.
that joke.
That
Oh
was
my God.
good, Tom. That was a good intro. But anyway,
Yeah.
anyway. So hey
Absolutely.
everybody. I am David, and
Allegedly.
Chloe. Yeah, allegedly.
I was just gonna say,
Sorry for not having a podcast last week.
well, there was that. Well, technically, there is still a podcast this week.
No,
for people who
they're
are
a week
listening.
behind. They're a week behind now.
Oh right, well that might be my fault. Yeah, but fuck, it's hot.
Wait,
Oh
is that
my
wait? Was
God.
it because
Hot.
you were in a different country last weekend? Is
I
that
was
why
in
you
a
couldn't?
different country?
Oh,
Yes.
I didn't know that. See, I wasn't told about that. That you were going to
Oh,
be in a
right.
different country.
Weirdly,
And,
David,
I
was in a different
David,
country.
Tom does not share info.
I am
Yeah.
not good with my communication.
Well, you just speak to someone like we're expecting that we should know this. So
Yeah.
I'm just walking down the street. What street? Oh, I'm just over here in a what's its face. Oh right, okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have been
checks
known for
out.
that. On the rarest of occasions, I have been known for that.
You talked about being
Yeah.
in a grab lorry the other day, and you're like, oh yeah, because I'm in the grab. I was like, are you okay? This is new.
Well, that was the week before.
Yeah, that was the week
which-
before, but I'm still,
Yeah.
just bringing that into
Yeah.
account.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've jumped from one thing to another. It's
Mhm.
but the
Here's
heat.
an example.
Let's talk about the heat for a second. Fuck me.
Okay,
I am-
so
As David
how
sat
hot
with
is
his
it?
aircon.
How? I actually I don't have my AC on. It's not on right now.
Right. Well, then, I say this with all the love. Fuck you. Genuinely, fuck you. Because,
That's fine.
like, so I've been in Cyprus, and
hmm
English heat is a different type of
Mhm.
heat.
It's humid as hell.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yes, it is.
horrible. And like, even people who come here and like they're like, oh, the British complaining about whatever, and then they come here and they're like, oh, yeah, this is miserable. But so we're in Cyprus, and Kale's like, oh, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. It is hot, but it's a different type of heat, and yes, that's true. However, they're currently experiencing a heat wave. They've got alerts for the heat out there, and the only species that's actually out during the day, because it's too hot for the lizards, it's too hot for the snakes, it's too hot for the scorpions, it's too hot for anything. The only species that is out in the heat are the British, because the Cypriots, they all hide away. But no, us Brits, fucking let's go out in this 40-degree heat, because fuck it, why not? But the thing is, the heat is deceptive. And I was in the pool for like the first day, and we were just like, living our best lives. Fuck, I got so sunburned.
Oh, no.
Got so fucking sunburned. I had literal 2nd-degree burns.
Did you not put sun cream on?
May have not done that. It didn't feel too bad. It was the pool. Yeah, I know.
Oh,
mistakes.
definitely in the pool you need to do
Oh,
that because it
definitely.
magnifies
Yeah,
magnifies it and everything.
So
Yeah.
much worse.
We know this now,
How
obviously.
have you not learnt this?
How
in
how have
many
you not known
years
it
on life?
before?
I don't know. It was stupid.
Just being
But what
rude.
about your kids? Surely, when you've gone outside with your kids into the beach or to the pool, you put suntan lotion on them because
Yeah,
know?
but that's them. That's not me. Look after them.
To be fair, I've got the same.
I just
yeah.
fucking just go at things and then regret my decision later. That's how that works as an adult. As an adult, it's all about the regret of things that you've done.
I can't remember the last time actually not my arms or my neck and stuff, but my back has seen sunlight. I'd be afraid, to be honest, to take my shirt off. It would be so white.
It's so fucking. Honestly, my back is. But I'm now in the itchy stage. I'm flaking. I'm flaking like a fucking lizard.
So it's so uncomfortable as well.
Does
Kaylee like peeling the skin?
No, she's been very supportive. Sometimes. with this.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Like, so we're in the pool.
It is self-inflicted, let's be honest.
It is. Well, no, she's peeling as well because she put some cream on and like some butter thing on, and it reacted with the sun, and she's peeling as well. So she's
sorry.
not
She
as bad as
put
me.
she put an oil on herself.
I can't believe it was some butter, but
So she basically just cooked herself.
we were in the basically, yeah. That's what she's
Does
doing.
she naturally tan? Does she tan pretty well, or does she?
Tans unbelievably well.
Oh, okay,
She's,
okay. So that's
to
fine.
the point where genuinely, as the three of us here, the whitest of white people, let's be honest, we couldn't. This is as far as it goes. One of the very whitest podcasts going out there. She tans so fucking aggravating. Like, her skin is beautiful. Like, it just makes me angry, but I love it. But so she was saying about, she said, "I've got to come. We're in the pool," and she said, "Come here. I'm going to go and check. I'll check your back and I'll see how it is." I'm like, "You're not. You won't like it." She goes, "No, I'm going to be like a doctor. I'm going to be a professional." So I back up to her and like she goes, and then backs away from me. I was like, "Oh, that's not like a fucking doctor, is it? That's not like a doctor."
That's awesome.
That's gross.
Yeah. But when
It was
your skin,
disgusting. Thank you for that.
oh yeah. When you're when it does peel, do you try to get as much of it off as possible without ripping it? Is that
No, but at the same time,
like, get a
there has been.
But,
I
just
will.
nothing more satisfying than able to just rip that skin and it just comes off in one sheet?
I'm not doing that, but I have been satisfied with some of the little pieces that I've managed to get. Some big pieces, like there were some good ones.
That's nice. That is good.
yeah,
It's been a while since I got sunburned. I went to a sunbed when I first came to America. We went to an apartment complex and they had free tanning. So I decided to go in for. Oh my God! Yes, Tom, go ahead.
The fuck off.
Why do I have to back the fuck up? There's free tanning. Is a little tanning booth inside in the apartment complex area where people hang out.
Also, what
'Cause why
happens? Do
not?
you have to tie
It's like a perk.
beard up? You have to
I
bun your beard
didn't
up?
have a beard. I had a goatee back then. But
I
again,
just
this
imagine you
is
get a tan and then this massive chest piece that's just white.
But okay. A lot of apartment.
A ring.
Yeah, I'm sure I do too. Look, there's my neck. You've never seen that before.
No, I haven't.
Apartment complexes in America like to have little perks, little stuff that you like. Hey, free tanning. I'm like, ooh, because some people actually pay monthly for tanning. They pay like $40 to go to a tanning salon or whatever, right? But you get it free here. It's whatever. It was free. I went into it for 10 minutes, and I've never been so burnt in my entire life. I couldn't sleep. I was so burnt that I literally couldn't sleep whatsoever.
10 minutes.
I just went in for 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, the bad some them.
And I was just. I've never been in so much pain for such a long time. I know women mothers have had pregnancy, they gave him birth, been in labor for over 24 hours, and you know what I mean. That was nothing compared to my sunburn. It was so bad.
It is
Yeah,
painful,
and
sunburn. It's horrible.
so that was
It's when you have to kind of like ready yourself for turning around in bed, or like just the idea of having like a t-shirt on was just like, I'm like, Kayla's like, oh, you need to put a t-shirt on, and I'm like, honestly, I'll stay inside. If
It's
the
even just going
options
for a
are
shower or something, isn't it? It's just so weird temperature wise.
well, so last night I put cream on, to put some E45 on there, and it started burning after about like 5 seconds, and I was like, I'm gonna have to go and wash it off. And the shower at her mum's is kind of like, it's just like a standard. It's a nice shower because it fires at you and you can feel it cleaning you. It's really good. But when you're sunburned, that's like the worst thing ever. So I got in the shower here, and Kale's got this like a shower head, and it has this really pointless. I've never understood it. Like, it's like a misting mode. When you put onto it, it's just like it's like a rainforest coming out, like just a really fine mist. I have never been so happy for a setting in the shower in my entire life as that thing there. Honestly, it was a fucking delight. Was that shower head last night? I think I may have enjoyed that shower head more than a woman. I'm just saying, it was.
I'm sure
incredible.
Sorry, I'm sure a lot of women have said that too. In a way, of like a shower head is more.
Well, I'm telling you now, there's a mode on our shower head, and there is no reason I can think of that mode other than just for women. I cannot think of a reason.
Sunburn, obviously.
Oh no, not.
Is it the pulsing? Is it the pulsing one?
No, that one definitely will be for that. But like, it's just, I can't think of another reason for this particular mode. It must be for that exact reason.
Yeah. So heat. I have my 10-day forecast in front of me, and it's just, I'm sure you guys, it's mainly the humidity is driving you guys crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was like right now, it's 24 degrees, and so it's all right. Tomorrow's going to be 29 degrees, and
22 today. 33
degrees the next day. And 32, 27, 25. So that's the weather that we're expecting in the next week. So at least everybody who is going to be celebrating the 4th of July over here, well, especially in this part of the country, and we'll have a nice little time. But definitely for all the hundreds and thousands of people who are over here listening to our podcast, please wear some suntan lotion, and don't forget to hydrate, and fix that posture as well. I'm sure you need to fix your posture. Everybody needs to fix your posture. Yeah.
So we were talking about earlier about the humidity levels. So I googled it's because we've got 82% humidity today, and we were trying to work out what that actually means. So that means so it basically feels like very very heavy and sticky and just gross, basically. But in terms of saying what it means, is the amount it can go up to 100%. Basically 100%, you think about walking into a really wet fog, that's 100%. So you just feel like you just warp into all that water vapor. That's pretty much what we've got, but heat wise.
Wow. I do remember being in London when I was maybe 14, and it was in the summer, and I don't know, for some reason it was kind of hot inside. I'm like, I need to go outside, get some fresh air. And I went outside. I was like, what is this? This is like the weirdest. It was the weirdest thing I ever experienced. It feels more outside than it does inside. Whatever, you know what I mean? It just felt, I just never experienced it. It was so weird how humid it was. And I know this was the next worst one again. I think I told you that I think it was Alabama or Louisiana. It was basically, I had to have the wipers on because it was so humid.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, I've just checked because Kale's staying out for another week. So she's still out there because her mum's birthday is this week. So I've come back for work, which I'll talk about. I'll talk about because it's been kind of interesting. But I've just checked. Her next Saturday will be 43 degrees out there.
That's too much.
What?
No.
That's too much.
I have to. I get a better watt in just a second. So that's 42 degrees, is it? That's
43 degrees.
Okay, 107. Okay, that's that is hot. That's nothing to laugh at. It's just that
That's too hot.
100. I've experienced 107 quite a lot.
Have you?
Yeah. So
There's
I know how bad it is. I'm just for some reason I thought it was going to be like 120 or something, but
It's bad. But that's not the highest temperatures. Like what's the just talk along yourselves while I search this.
Oh, okay.
What?
I don't know.
I feel like
what are we talking about?
Now? We were talking about
What if we completely talk about something?
humidity?
I remember being in 110 degree weather in which is 43 degree Celsius weather in Las Vegas. It was so dry. It was kind of nice though, but because there was zero humidity. And it was just pure heat.
It's dealable, isn't it?
Yeah, but
48 degrees in Cyprus is the highest temperature.
Yeah. Anyway, so I feel like we haven't hung out in a long time. That and you end up talking about the weather because that's basically what the conversation is like right now. Are we all still truck driving?
Yes.
What do you mean? Are we all still truck driving?
I'm still employed. I am still employed by a trucking company. No, I did get a text.
They're going to do it for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She just hasn't gotten back to me yet. I'm like, that's fine. That's fine.
Whenever you're ready. Good.
No big deal. It is kind of funny though.
The life he lives there.
It's gonna be very weird for me to actually get behind the wheel of a truck. Behind a truck? What
are you doing behind there?
I do. I went
that's
a year one time.
He just follows trucks around and just pretends he's a truck driver.
Just sits there going, yeah.
Yeah, I'm only going to be available on the weekends though because I am taking my kids full time. I'm taking them out of daycare because daycare costs $150 a day for both kids.
Jeez.
So I can't
just.
Wait,
so $300 a day is it?
For both kids, it's $150.
For both, $150.
Right,
okay.
Yeah. So it's $300 a week, and that's only because I have them in 2 days a week. And it's just I can't do it anymore. It's just too much. It's too much, and I can work at nighttime. I find myself staying up till midnight working anyway. So now I just got to figure out what to do with the kids because I'm not the best parent of figuring it out.
£150 a day. You're saving £150 a day. You can spend it. There you go.
Yeah, and so I just bought a bike for him for the older guy. So hopefully he'll. We can start doing that. And there's other memberships we can get to. There's like a trampoline place that maybe we can get a membership for, and that way we can kind of like, okay, let's go to the trampoline place on a random day.
Haven't got
whatever,
Starship Troopers that you again.
What are you talking about?
Well, you used to go to Disneyland all the time, didn't you?
Starship Troopers?
Yeah, that's not the same thing, is it?
No. Star Wars?
That's not.
Oh, Chloe.
What are the white guys called?
Star Wars and Starship Troopers.
Are you sure you're not? No, Star Trek.
Troopers. No. Star Wars. But what are the guys? They're called troopers, aren't they? And the white suit.
Oh, right. Yeah.
What are they called?
The Stormtroopers.
Stormtroopers. Starship Troopers is the aliens, isn't it? That's horrifying for children. Okay.
I haven't had Disneyland in a long time. That's been like 3 years ago since I last went to Disneyland, and I don't know if I'll ever go again. I don't think I ever need to go again. The kids are fine.
Yeah, you've got it. You've kind of wiped out a little bit on it, haven't you?
Yeah.
Indeed.
But there's other stuff to do as well. It's just like imagine where you're forced to spend $300 a week on stuff for the kids. You know what I mean? And it's just like I don't feel so bad about buying stuff for them now. But daycare is important though. They get socializing and all that kind of stuff.
Can you not
and they get a lot more learning.
Groups?
I'm going to be doing a lot more research in that kind of stuff, like maybe some
like
parenting and me stuff. There's just
when you
I need to do better.
You mean asking Gemini?
Yeah, I've already done that. Yeah, that's one of the last chats that I actually have is what can I do with my kids when they're not in daycare anymore? And these are their ages and stuff. And
why don't you make like a 5-day plan with them and actually have like a set thing of like today?
Well, we're working on. Well, we're going to work on that. I'm just not. We'll figure it out. I'm not the very best of doing stuff with them.
Louis, he'll give you some ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And
You know, it's just
claim
that
that's
during the day,
research.
there's like
That
a
is
2 hour,
research, yeah.
there's a 2 hour part of the day where the youngest one takes a nap. So it's kind of like I can't really take him that far because he gets a good nap in bed, not really in the car. You're not supposed to
Yeah.
nap in the car, you know, and it's just it's one of those things. I don't know. It's yeah. So I'm actually a full-time dad now. You know, we're full-time stay-at-home dad. It's just
Yeah.
like I'm not
Yeah.
very good at it as a thing. I prefer to have she pay someone else to do it because I kind of suck sometimes. Sometimes I
Would it not
rock.
be cheaper to just get someone over to do it?
I've looked into that and it's not.
Is it not? Oh, I
No.
thought maybe it might.
Yeah, there's insurance. There's this, you know, if they get the back,
It
you know,
starts
you gotta
getting
go
technical.
through a company and
Oh,
anyway.
really? Okay.
But
That sounds sucky.
anyway, yeah, that's just me. Yeah.
So basically, like Mary Poppins was quite expensive.
Yeah.
Mary Poppins was very expensive. Yep.
She was pretty awesome. You'd spend money
She
for
was,
her.
yeah.
hmm Yesterday, I put up the tent in the backyard and they threw a bunch of balls in there. So they had a little bit of a ball pit and they had a good time. That was nice. They really enjoyed that. But
I like how
You know.
your wife says you're great most of the time.
most,
Some of
I
the
suppose that's fair. That's very
That
nice
is
of her to
good,
say
that's
that.
fair. It's nice.
Yeah. Anyway,
Most of the time.
all right. What else do we want? I
Well,
feel like
stu-
we're stretching on stuff to talk about here. What
No,
else
not
is
at all.
there?
Absolutely not. I was going to talk about trucks, but then you launched into about kids and shit. So,
All right,
then.
let's talk
Go on
about
then.
trucks.
Trucks.
Fuck yeah, let's do it. All right, this is
Uh,
where my wife will leave us because she's not interested in this part.
well, I'll be honest. It's interesting, more quite interesting doing something different. But I've got like some basically fucking drug tests. Fucking drug tests have been an
Why have you
absolute
got drug
nightmare.
tests?
So
Why
I
is it
had
a nightmare?
I had 2 drug tests last week,
Right.
and
Spontaneous. Right? Spontaneous, like just
No. So I've been on nights for 8. Well, it's a subcontractor through who a famous one, but I won't mention names. But they are upgrading the roads through for highways, and so
Right.
because of where it is, it all needs to be done at night.
Right.
And they need the grab wagon for running muck between the 2 different points and doing all that stuff. So I've been on the grab wagon, but I had to do a drug test for them, which is fine. But they didn't. The first 2 nights, I turned up early, and no one was there to do all of this stuff. And the 3rd night, they decided that was the night they wanted to do the test and the full induction and stuff like that, which is fine.
So you
Except,
didn't turn up early.
well, I take cocodamol for my back, which is
Right.
an opiate. An opiate's come up as a fail, which I told them about, and I said, "Hey, by the way, I'm going to fail this drug test." And they were like, "Yeah, that's not a problem at all." And then they came back and they were like, "Oh, it's failed." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." So they said, "I don't really know what to do because you can't work until like we've been cleared." So it's like, "So what do I do then?" Because I told you about this before we did this, and I told you it was going to happen. So then we had to wait for someone. So they paid, I think, nearly £1,000. Or it was like 900 and some quid or something like that for some guy to come out and to stand behind me, and he had to tape up everything in the bathroom. He had to tape down the fucking handle of the toilets, tape the fucking things, and he stood. And
What, to make
Do
sure
you
you weren't
know-
going to take anything?
Can you explain why?
so is it so it wouldn't dilute the piss, basically, because otherwise it would come
to
back
take
as
the
a
test.
fail.
Right, okay.
So, do you know sometimes that when you're at a urinal, there's a guy standing next to you, and there's probably 2 people, and you need a wee, but you're like, I need to piss. Come on. And you start getting a bit of piss fright, don't you?
It's happened a couple of
no.
times.
Imagine being in a quiet office where there's only 2 people, this massive quiet office, and there's a guy with the door wide open, stood, staring at your back, and you're just there, holding this little thing, going, come on, just go. Come on, just do this for me now. And then you pee, and then you realise, oh, I've not actually drunk enough water recently. So you've
Oh
got
my
like
God.
really dark pee, and you're like,
no.
and you have to make a comment about, like, hey, I know I need to drink more water. Could you not judge me for my piss? Because they think someone's going to be looking at that today. And then, so I've cleared this one, which is fine. And then the next day, I had to go for another piss test. This is for something, which you're all talking about. But this is for some other place, which is definitely not a nuclear site. But anyways. But so I went to this other one so I can get my clearance to be able to go into this other place. And I told them again, I said, and by the way, I have checked this. I've got the fucking evidence because here's the fucking document, which is somehow nicely blurred. That works out quite nicely.
Really clever.
Yeah, it was like I was almost planned that. So again, the guy wrote down, and this is one of the ones where they have to send off the stuff. And I called up last week, during the week, because I would need to double check about a pay and which day I was getting paid. Because it gets a bit weird with pay when you're on holiday with Lawson's. And the last I was speaking to, who's one of the managers, she was like, "Oh, I can't. I'm not going to discuss it with you now, but I need to see you first thing Monday morning." I'm like, "Well, I can't deal with that. My anxiety can't deal with that sort of thing. That's not how anxiety works. I can't just push that to the back of my mind. I need to know now what you're talking about." And she goes, "It's just to do with your drug test." I'm like, "Oh, the fact that I failed it." And she goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah, for the cocodamol, the opiates." And she goes, "Yes." Says, "What, do you take painkillers?" I said, "Yeah, I do. I told them this." And she's like, "Right, well, let's come back as just failed." And I said, "But I told him. He wrote it down on the fucking paper. I watched him do it." And I said, I've got the pink copy in my car. I can prove it that he's written it down there, which I've done. I've checked, and it fucking says on there that he has. So someone hasn't written that down and has just put failed.
Right.
But the thing is, that's a really serious thing. That, like, potentially, I could have got sacked for that.
Yeah.
But that's. I mean, thankfully, they kind of know me enough by now to kind of have figured out I'm not fucking off taking heroin or some shit. But but there's still the same point that it's not good that
someone's failed to do something that could massively impact you.
Yeah. Really bad. Really, really bad.
So what did you have to do? Take your tablets in to show them, or like the prescriptions and that to prove it?
I'd already shown them all of that. I've got it all, but I've sent it into our office, and the office have contacted them, and hopefully by Monday it's all cleared up. But that's fine. But thankfully, I don't have to go into this bloody meeting, which is good because. Fucking anxiety levels can deal with that shit, but it's not okay. Because in the day they were following procedure, and it's someone at wherever they test the stuff, they're the ones that are fucked up on this. So yeah, I don't know. It's just really shitty. Like I don't know if have you ever had to deal with drug tests before?
I have, but I've always passed them. I always get compliments on how much water I drink. They're like, "Oh, somebody, you drink a lot of water," or
you actually get compliments on that.
I actually get compliments, yeah.
Wow, I don't think I've ever had to do one other than with the doctor. Never.
Really, you don't have to do it for your driver's license, so your truck driver's license.
No.
That's
a company thing. That
it might be.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know they do random drug tests at my place, but I've never been picked.
I'm kind of trying to think now. Do we actually?
No,
because I know we have.
They don't do.
I think they're like
drug tests.
Mouth ones anyway.
I've never had a mouth one. I think
they're not very nice. They're not very nice. I've had a mouth one as well.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
the actual nights themselves have been quite interesting. It's been something that's, I don't know. It's quite exciting in a way. I know the novelty's going to wear off.
There's lots going on then to keep it exciting. Then how long is it for?
Yeah, thankfully, it's another week of it potentially.
Okay,
we'll see.
So it's not long term.
No, it's not. But it's been interesting. Like kind of. So like tonight, I'm going to stay up until like 4 a.m. Like 4 or 5 a.m, depending. Like if I can stay awake.
Are you going to work tonight then? Are you?
No. But I want to get my body
into a schedule
because it's not till Monday night. But I want to try and get my body in that
in the Reading. So
mode.
you're going to stay up tonight, you're going to sleep during the day, and then you're going to stay up for Sunday night.
Yeah. It's just trying to like how have you guys had to do nights before? How do you kind of keep yourselves like? How do you keep yourselves in the? Have you not? Never.
No.
You should do at some point. Just to kind of.
I would be up for. I'd like to do like another, just like take a random holiday, I say, but take a random week or something to drive a lorry somewhere random and stay out in it.
Do you have that?
You want to do a week of tramping, but do you not have you've got a walking floor? Do you not?
We have got a walking floor, but it doesn't go anywhere to go tramping. Do you know what I mean? Like there's companies nearby us that would do it. That I could probably say, can I just work for you for a week? They'd probably let me do it.
Yeah.
But, I just never done it. I've never done anything other than EMS.
Night. When you say what time? Sorry, what time did you say you start your nighttime again? And what time do you finish?
I'm starting at 8 o'clock. Well, 7 o'clock actually, because it's setting off time.
Okay.
But yeah.
And then you just basically work for like 12 hours or whatever, and you're
10 hours.
10 hours.
10 hours.
10
so yeah,
hours.
back for like. Well, I say it's contracted 10 hours, but I'm usually back before that.
I've done all shifts. I've started at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and finished at like 4 in the morning. And so sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning when it's early. But I've done the one time. Well, if you have to get to the other side of the country really quickly, you're kind of forced to get up like 4 hours earlier every day. Because of the you drive for 10 hours, basically, and then you take your 10-hour break. You know what I mean? Which means you're getting up a little earlier every day. So like I remember starting at like, I don't know, started like 6 p.m. 6 a.m. and then the day before that it was like the next day was like 2 a.m. and then just kept getting earlier and earlier and earlier and earlier. So where it was all whacked because I kind of screwed up on my figuring out when I was supposed to be there kind of thing, So I showed up a day late to pick it up. And so I had to make up that difference. And I made it. I saw before I left, I'm like, I need to figure out if I can actually do this. So, did my calculations, and I arrived 2 hours early. Which was lucky. Otherwise, because if I didn't, it wouldn't have been a big deal if I was late. I just mean that I would have to stay there for the entire weekend till they, because it delivered on a Friday.
Right.
And around, so I'd have to stay the entire weekend and then deliver first thing on Monday morning, which that would have sucked because that would have hurt me. And but it was a good little trip though.
Okay, wow. So in the UK, with the way that we work, so you can. Because you have your weekly rest, and usually, I'm sure there are companies out there where you get hammered hard for this, and you do need to kind of do all of your exact hours. But I've never really had it where it's you getting the kind of like it's where with your times you are getting earlier and earlier every single day. Because I know technically that could happen in the UK, but with the way that it works, it just doesn't happen because you get into like sites. You're never traveling for more than a day.
Yeah.
Realistically, unless you're going like it was only like once or twice where I had like just a day of just driving. There was no sites. Just basically, I'd picked up and then I had to drive down. It was, I think, maybe twice in like the entire time I was driving that I ever had that. And so usually
you kind of extra once or twice, didn't you, on one of your old jobs?
Yes, but you're bouncing around a lot. So you're not. You might do. That would be probably one of the furthest ones that we did.
Yeah. Where we do like.
I say like furthest regular ones where we do like Blackpool to Exeter, but you can do that in a day. Like that's not an end of the world thing. But then usually the way it works is, you're normally kind of getting up to Blackpool at the end of the day, kind of driving an hour or two down the road and then getting down to Exeter and doing stuff like that. Like the only time I've ever had it was where I was in Fort William and we set off from there, or I'd set off from there. and I had to go all the way to Southampton. So I'm sure it was Fort William or something like that. It was a fucking trek and a half. Was that like? That was one of the few times where I was like, yeah, I literally can't do this in one sitting. This is going to be, I'm going to drive all day tomorrow, and then it's going to be the day after that I actually arrive. But that's one of the few times where your 10 hours or your 9 hours rest really did kind of come into effect, and you did start a little bit early the next day. But normally you get into a site, you get held up, and you'll run out of working time before or it just doesn't really kind of work like that.
Yeah,
I think that would suck. That
when it comes to working time, like, okay, when I first started truck driving, there was no limit on your working hours. All right, there was a limit. There was a 10 hours. 10 hours was the most you could drive, and an 8-hour break resetted your day. And so I struggled. They basically, once your 8 hours break is done, you're back to work. I didn't like that because I wanted to be able to wind down. You know what I mean? I want to be able to like kind of hang out, have dinner maybe or whatever, you know. But a lot of times there were because I was doing short runs. A lot of my runs we were regional, which is still pretty big. You know, it was basically Oregon and Washington and Idaho. All right, so basically that's where we stayed, and so that's still quite a huge amount. It was like 500 miles from basically, because we couldn't go into California because of the size trailers that we had or whatever, right? Because there were 4-axle trailers. Anyway, but we had a lot of short runs where it's like 150 miles, you know, just maybe 300 miles if we got lucky. But a lot of them were like, just deliver when you get there. And it just put a lot of pressure on my sleep. And so I was very sleepy a lot, and it was just so unsafe. But that was back then, you know. But now having that extra, whereas now it's a mandatory 10 hours, there is some loopholes and you know, some split sleeping going on and all that kind of. But generally speaking, 10 hours is what you do. But that was much better. They did give us 11 hours of driving now. But having that 10 hours just made so much. I was so happy with it.
How do you know how many hours you've driven?
You keep track of it.
But how?
Well, before it used to be a book. Now it's digital. Now it's once your truck starts rolling, it'll put you on driving, and
like a tacho card.
Well, it's a computer, but yeah, sure. But we can actually switch it. You know, it's just kind of like you guys. Yeah, you guys got like a bit of a computer
card that goes into it.
No, we don't have a card. It's just that we have a login and password. You know, so
really?
There we go. So yeah, we just log in, and there we go. And if let's say you're driving around a yard, all right, that's not going to be counted as driving time, all right. But you got to manually put it as yard time. You know what I mean? And kind of explain why you manually switch, because you like they do change stuff. I'm sure it's a little different now than what it was 2 years ago when I was last driving. You know,
technically it's the same here, where if you're in the yard, technically that doesn't count or shouldn't count towards your driving time,
because it's different kind of work. When you're driving around the yard, you're more aware.
It's not bad. It's because it's private land. It's only, your hours only clock up when you're on. But that being said, if you started pulling your card when you got to a site and you started doing stuff like that, Vosa technically couldn't do fuck all.
They would, though, because they would be like, why aren't you recording it?
Well, no, because you're not doing anything technically wrong. But at the same time, they're going to be like, this guy's taking the piss. I am going to find something to fucking nail this person against the wall. Like,
I would say Phil's saying that it's not
one way or another, you're getting done.
Yeah, but there's going to be missing mileage. They will do, yeah.
No, because it's not. It's still as long as it's accounted for. As long as if it's on private land and you're doing private work, like if
you're back at the yard and you're doing something, we've done things like we'll move trucks, things like that. It's out of scope. They'll put it down the missing mileage and explain why. But now with Vosa and everything, you've got to. If your truck's got a significant amount of missing mileage, they're questioning it, going, "What the fuck's been going on here?" Because our companies like that, they'll be proper on it. Like, well, why is this truck missing out like mileage? Like one
But
of the
see,
drivers.
the thing is, there's compliance stuff where that's not against the driver. I'm talking about your basic rules. And your basic kind of like fundamental rules are if it's your own private land, you don't need to record that. But you are right. There's a lot of other stuff that's going on there where
That's the thing.
there's compliance
technically-
things with the trucks.
Yeah.
But that's not to do with you. That's to do with the company and why is there so many missing miles and stuff like that. That's a company thing. I'm talking about literally just you as a driver. You technically, if you're in private land, it doesn't need to be counted for.
But on duty
like
time.
I say, they
I'm pretty
absolutely
sure
because you're still working time. It's still 100%
Yeah, so you
working
still
time.
gotta
You couldn't
show
have it as
taco.
break or
How many clocks do you guys have counting down on you? Because you got your driving clock and you got your working clock. Is maybe a break clock, or we have a 70-hour rule clock where you can only work 70 hours in 8 days. So we got that timer going down on us. You know, do you like? Is there more clocks for you
technically
guys?
4 clocks?
So you got a drive
Is it-
time.
Well,
working time.
well, if you don't include breaks, I guess, because if we can include breaks, fuck, so many. But
Yeah, 60 hours for us.
Mm-hmm. In 7 days.
Less than that, isn't it? I can't bloody remember that bit. But you've got to take weekly rest. You can limit your weekly rest every 3 weeks, or is it every 2 now? I can't remember the rules. My God,
So,
we're meant to be truck drivers.
my understanding of it is,
His understanding. Oh my God, asterisks right here.
fuck, I'm trying to remember this now.
yeah,
Someone's
6
going
days.
to
There you go,
correct.
Phil.
I know
Yeah,
someone's
we
going to
knew
correct
it.
me. I'm bracing because we're
I
talking
was
about
thinking, I
taco
was like, I didn't
regulations.
think you could do
Some
7.
gonna fucking is going to correct me on this, right? So my understanding of it is it 40? You're supposed to have 45 hours off, isn't it? Or was it 40? Yeah, 45 hours
Yeah.
off. So
You
you
can
can
reduce
reduce that twice. But on the 3rd week, you then have to make that up. So you can reduce it down to 24 hours. And I think it's twice that you can reduce it down. But like, say, for
Not
instance,
twice in a row.
this was my understanding of it. My understanding of it was, and this is how it's in my head. So you can reduce it down. So say, for instance, if you reduce it down to 35 hours on the 1st week and then 35 hours on the 2nd week, you then have 20 hours to make up for because you've reduced it down by that amount.
Right.
So then on week 3, you then, because you, for the 3-week periods, you have to have 45 hours plus 45 hours plus 45 hours. But you can kind of hope someone's going to correct me on this, or
David's
if I'm
zoned
right.
out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, please.
I'm looking. Yeah, I'm trying to like
You've
how
also
long
gotta
would,
have-
how long would it take for me to actually learn this? I wonder if I had
It's-
proper,
it's honestly,
if I had competent people explaining it to me.
Wait.
I'm competent on most of it, but I don't have
That's
to
the
worry
thing.
about half of it.
Most
so
of
can
it,
get
I
half
want.
of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I used to be.
It's,
I
the
can't
problem is,
remember
it's
half of it
just
now.
too complicated. It
Yeah.
needs to be simplified down.
There's a lot
It
to remember.
absolutely needs to be simplified.
It's hard for
down.
me to listen to what you guys are talking about and not in my own head compared to the way it was
Yeah.
for me. So it's hard for me to like kind of zone into what you guys are saying and just accept it, whatever you guys, and then I just keep on thinking, no, that's a silly way.
That's
We don't know,
That's
you know.
not right. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
The thing is,
Silly.
the thing is, it's very rare that you do stuff like this, because someone explained this to me. But this is when I was on nights for Farrington's, and I was running all of down to the fruit markets, and this is the first time that I actually had it where I was going to all of these different hours, and I was starting to get reduced breaks and stuff like that. And I will say that fucked me. That did. Like that was horrendous. That's probably one of the worst times truck driving, and I nearly refused to do these nights because of how bad that experience was. But I'm glad
You're just sleeping at the wheel the entire time. Is basically what it was, or you're just your life. You
That
you
festival,
struggle to
wasn't it,
sleep.
You were doing to London.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't. Touch wood. I'm very. The one thing that I've never had done is I've never started nodding off at the wheel. I've definitely started getting heavy.
You've never done that before?
Never.
No.
Never. And I've been extremely fatigued, but for whatever reason, that's hopefully, and that's hopefully not something that I don't ever want to experience that, but I've never, I think I might have started getting close to it, but that wasn't what it was. It was my mental health that started degrading real bad. Like I started having suicidal thoughts and shit.
Oh my god!
There was at one point I was just like, I'm going to put this truck into the barrier and just be done with it.
Jesus Christ, I wouldn't want to fucking hire you.
It was, and then I had to. Then there was kind of this snap thing of like, you're just tired, and I knew it wasn't a kind of. It was like I was consciously aware that it wasn't just. It was fatigue affected, like bad mental health. We don't wrong, obviously. Like there was other stuff going on, but it was definitely the fatigue that was like the 99% of it, and that was what was affecting me badly. And it was horrible. Was that like? It completely put me topsy-turvy. Whereas with this, I feel like I'm just staying up late.
Mm-hmm.
This feels a lot like I don't think I could do nights on tramping. There's a
lot more to
me.
Entertain you, is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I think it was with this. I'm running like, I'll do a run, and then I'm jumping on the back of the truck. I'm using the grab, so there's physical stuff that I'm doing, and then my mind's constantly occupied. But when you're doing nights and you're just staring out of the screen, and there's no other cars on the roads, there's nothing else to do. You're just lane one, just down the motorway, constantly. But then you'll get after like 4 hours, or for whatever it is hours, you then get to London, and you've then got all of the stress of driving somewhere where you are very, very unfamiliar with. Yeah. Like London driving is so completely different to what, well, you and me are both used to. That's city driving, but it's like extreme city driving, and there's all the cameras, and there's this, and then there's red lines, and there's red hatchings, and what the fuck does that mean? What are them things? God. Like all these different things, and then you'll get to this place, and there's like these complicated systems, like, oh, you have to go and speak to this person here and this person here, but don't go down this bit here. And then that forklift driver, you have to pay him cash, because fucking why not?
Yeah,
pay a fucking forklift driver a ton.
What I remember when I was working nights back when I first started. No, I was with my ex-wife, and I had to stop doing nights because my wife didn't respect my sleep. Because you get home at whatever 6 o'clock in the morning, and so you go to sleep. The kids will be doing whatever, and all I can hear is her screaming at the kids to shut up. You know what I mean? As in, like, because dad's sleeping or whatever. I'm like, I tell her every single time, like, I can't hear them. I can hear you. Just stop. And she didn't care. She just, again, we're both young. 23s, 24s, whatever, you know what I mean? We haven't learned that respect yet, kind of thing, for other people's sleep, because sleep is important. And like I can't stress this enough. I need my sleep. I will fall asleep at the wheel. The amount of times that I pretty much dozed off, and I don't even remember the last 10 miles, that kind of stuff, and it's just like your eyes are just shaking like crazy, and you just, and it was just where I didn't even want to come home. I was like, because I had a sleeper truck. So I was like, I would just kind of like, yeah, sorry, I'm not going to make it home tonight. I'm not going to make it home. Yeah, even though sometimes I'd actually end up sleeping at the intersection of where I would take to go home. It's just because I just couldn't do it anymore. She was just, God, she was the worst. Anyway,
I definitely I found myself sometimes I'd park the truck up near the house. Because I was getting up so early, my thing was I'm going to be getting up early in the morning, so I'm just going to sleep in the truck tonight and just walk around the corner to the truck. It's easier. Life was just so much easier if we did that.
It was, yeah. I literally did that before. But I stopped telling her that I was doing that, because you're not going to come home. What she wanted was help with the kids, and I didn't understand how hard watching kids was back then too. Like, you don't have a job. Your job is watching the kids, But now I understand how hard it is now watching the kids. And sometimes you just need a break or another adult around just so you can vent or whatever, And so, yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Poor David.
It's fine now.
And David Shirley off for a second there.
Yeah, sorry. Memories. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
yeah.
guess what?
Oh, go on.
What?
I was just going to go crazy and just change the subject.
Let's
Did you
do
see
it.
my advert?
Well, can I do
Did you
it?
see my advert? Did you see my advert?
I saw your advert. Well, because
Did
you
see my
shared.
advert? Well,
Have
I
you-
mean, yeah, you definitely sent it to us, so it was.
Well, I just
Go
thought I'd bring
on.
it up.
I like it.
You
Go
should
on.
bring it up.
Talk
like,
about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, talk about it.
So it was this video that obviously you guys knew about anyway. I talked about it before that we were doing. I
But I
didn't
would
realize they were... What?
Just for the sake of anyone new who
Okay.
isn't aware,
We get thousands
of
of
it.
new listeners
True.
every week. So
So basically, I did a video on the job for like a little mini documentary for EMS, who I work for, and the actual video is about...
It was a lot shorter than I expected it to be. When you'd
That's
explained
not the
this,
video.
ah,
That's a snippet.
Oh,
the
okay.
actual video is about half an hour long.
where can we watch this?
I don't think they've released it yet, but as soon as I know it's there, I'll send it to
coming
you guys.
soon.
Coming soon. Basically, this one that I sent you, which I had no idea they were doing, is an actual advert. Like a full-blown advert that pops up on everybody's things.
On TikTok, on
Yeah.
Facebook, on
Facebook,
on
Instagram, and
How come I'm not getting it here?
Oh, it's weird that. It's like you don't live anywhere nearby. No, so yeah, it's an actual advert. So I'm nice and famous again in the Southwest.
You're in like 75% of that ad.
Yeah,
I feel
it's literally just me. I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
What is
So there's
that all
other people
about?
in the ad. Are they? Have you?
They're
They're your
my
coworkers.
bosses.
They're
They're
your
my bosses.
bosses. Yeah. Now, when you showed up that one day, I'm like, oh, by the way, you're recording today. You have screen. As in, like, were you prepared? Or
No.
You just
No,
they just
didn't
like
give me any, like thing to prepare with. They just like, oh, by the way, we're going to jump in the truck with you and we're just going to record you. And I was like, brilliant.
that's
It's
so
going to be
weird.
like the worst angle, double chin action. I was like, yeah, this is going to be awful. And I was like, I'm just going to wing it. Let's just take it. And yeah, I thought it was quite good though. I thought, fuck it.
It's very good. Yeah. It's very
It
good.
looked quite good, didn't it?
What was
I-
those-
I
It's
can-
not
I-
even. That's the electric truck that I'd never driven before either.
Is it really?
Yeah. So they
It's
were
a
like,
good thing
"How
you
long-"
knew how to use those other buttons and whatever,
Yeah, it took me a minute to refresh. Like in the actual video, like I said, just cut this bit out, and I was like going, which button is it? And I was like, yeah.
Don't
let's
tell me
do it, it's fine.
no. That's going to be in the actual
It's probably
in
going to
it.
be all sorts. Yeah.
Because why wouldn't it be?
But it's like you know when you listen to it back though, and I'm just like, what am I talking about? Like, because obviously they asked me to like explain what I was going to do, so I said that I was going to like swap it all around, and then I was like, yeah. And then I unhitched the chains. I was like, who says that? You just take the chains off. Who unhitches chains? So now I've listened to it back, going, who says that? Why did I say
Yeah.
that? So
What was that
yeah.
one thing you said to the dude at the beach? It was like a repeated word, like good, or something. That was I was like, I've never heard you say it before. It was like, yeah.
Oh,
you
what,
were-
when I got it signed off, it's like, all good. I was like, no, that was
I know. As soon as you saw the guy for the first time, when you pulled up, you were like, hello,
Oh,
or
yeah,
like
so
it was.
hey, Johnny, like, hey, you okay? Oh, yeah, I said something weird, like, oh, yeah.
It's got to be
Yeah.
nerve wracking, absolutely nerve wracking, and
Well, you gotta be,
because
like,
you
really
had a few
solid.
cameras on you.
Oh my god, it was like a full-on film set. There was like about 3 cameras on me. There was a drone in the sky, so it was just like looking around, smiling, like I don't know what I'm looking at.
But the problem is you're not in control of any of it.
No. Whereas if you do your own videos, you can set them where you want them. You know where the camera is.
Mm-hmm.
You just completely ignore it because it's all candid, don't you? Really. But this one, I was just like, I don't know where I'm meant to look. And then when I got the signature, I realized they were filming me, so I was getting the guy to sign it. I was like, yeah, thanks. And I was like, when you just kind of stare at the camera, like, I was like, hey. And then walk off like, hey, like, what do I do?
The sound, it sounded fantastic. The sound as in like and
it was really good actually.
Yeah, but it's also an electric truck, so there wasn't the competition of noise that you normally have on a YouTube video recording.
Like quiet,
and they had a proper moving camera too. You know what I mean? It's like where it would zoom in, zoom out kind of thing, and kind of like it was kind of shaky. So it wasn't on a tripod. It was done very modern like, So that was
cameras
cool.
like shoulder ones. They put it on the massive ones.
Yeah,
massive screen. But yeah, it was full on.
Did the guy that you were delivering to or picking up from, did he know that this was going to be happening?
They had to get permission. Yeah, and obviously when we didn't know it was going to be such a beautiful view, like that camera angle and that was my idea because they were going to pack up, and I was like, do you not want to just put the drone in leave the drone in the sky and I'll drive up and down the promenade? They were like, can you? I was like, hell fucking yeah. Like, when do you get a chance to do this?
yeah, fucking A.
So, you got the whole village, there's a proper video bit where I'm actually driving down the promenade and you got the sea view and it looks stunning.
Oh, well, they used it multiple times. You can see there's loads of... They're like, we're just going to keep...
Well, it's a proper advertisement in a way of, it's constantly... There's no scene that's longer than 1 second. I mean, the camera view, so it's constantly changing just to kind of keep our attention going, and so there's
really
so much B footage.
Actually.
Yeah, it really was well done.
No, I did enjoy it. I was just a bit shocked that it's like the advert, like the face of EMS. I was not expecting that. Do you know what I mean? And I'm talking quite a lot through it, and then I end as well. I'm like, recycling what we can, and that's it. The end.
I think, but it makes sense though because you are the front line, if that makes sense, and
the drivers,
It makes.
Now I will
sense
put a link. I will put a link to this advertisement somewhere, anywhere that you are watching it in the description or whatever. So anybody who actually wants to take a look at it, there it will be. So I would probably definitely go to the YouTube one.
It's only short.
It is really cool to see our own Chloe on there, So yeah.
So we actually drive trucks, but I was like, can't we do it in the Roro? Like, at least it would have been a bigger truck. It would have been more beastie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have looked better. But then again, I think they were wanting the eco shit, weren't they?
Yeah, because
the audio is definitely better in an electric truck than it is.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so they could have gotten rid of that. So
the really clever bit is so I've seen the big 30-minute videos. They've done a full-on documentary, and because we've now got our own incinerator which powers everything, so they were trying to link it that everything gets recycled and goes back to the truck. Because technically, when we all sort it all out, we've got electric shedders and all sorts. When it goes over to be incinerator, the actual incinerator itself then powers the industrial estate, which then powers the truck. So it's basically saying that everything, which is why they went for the electric lorry, is because just saying everything just gets put back into the system, and
that is quite good. Although, is it incinerator is not insanely bad.
This one is, it's a very state of the art. Honestly, you watch the video, we've got our own recycling plant. It's all state of the art, how it's powered. And then the waste product that comes out of it, obviously you get stuff that goes in the air. That is a given. But the waste product that comes out in the Roro that I tip then gets put back into the aggregate pile for recycling. Because it's basically sand. The way it's processed is basically sand rather than ash.
I want to make sure I heard this correctly. You burn stuff at your facility to power a battery, basically.
Basically power the whole industrial estate. There's a whole new housing estate that's going to go there, and it's going to power the whole of it.
I'm sorry, that's awesome.
It's pretty, honestly, when the video comes out, I'll show it. It is 20-30 minutes long, but it's actually really interesting to watch because you don't even myself don't realize how much goes into it and things like that. It's quite clever, but it all starts obviously with the granddad and he starts with the cow shed and explains where he started it, and then it goes on to show all the family members and things like that, and how they all run their little parts, and it's really good. It's actually really well done. It's like a proper little documentary, you know. It looks really clever, and I'm in it. So there's always a bonus.
You're gonna be like the Caleb of Clarkson's Farms. You know, you just all of a sudden everyone's gonna love you, and they're gonna want to take pictures with you.
Yeah, they'll see me out on the road and I go, "Oh my god, it's the girl from the advert,"
or the girl from the documentary, because eventually it'll come out. You know, so. Isn't that what it is? A documentary, or is it like a documentary?
Yeah, it's like, but it's like a.
No one's going to watch that, are they?
I don't think anyone's.
Yeah, they are.
When have you ever watched a documentary for any company?
For a company.
Okay, out of curiosity, where is this being played? Is this going to be on YouTube? Is this going to be?
It's going to be on their like social media, YouTube's.
Okay, so this isn't going to be on TV. All right, this is just.
I thought so. I don't know, unless they do.
This is for. This is one of them things that gets sent to other businesses that are gonna partner with them. It's something. It's basically it's an advertisement for like company to company, business to business stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought this was going to be on the BBC or something.
No, that would be cool, wouldn't it?
Will be, yeah.
Maybe I'll write to them and we'll share it with them and say, "Oi, put it on there."
Yeah, or maybe Amazon will pick it up. Because it doesn't need to be the BBC.
I mean, I'd rather see Netflix
Amazon
more likely.
Series.
Netflix picks fucking anything up now.
It'll be cancelled after the first season.
Someone really random to come down and work skips and things like that.
Yeah.
Who would be the terriblest one?
How's your game going, Tom?
It's not at the moment. I'm going to pick it back up again. I start back up. I need to get back into the coding side of it, but I kind of got into a bit of an impasse where the map. I needed to finish the map off before I got into the coding side again, and yeah, I need to kind of sit down. I was going to do something when I was on holiday, but then I just did holiday things instead.
There's nothing worse than doing holiday things on a holiday when you bring your work stuff. And it's like, why did I even bring my work stuff?
Exactly. Exactly. Why bring my fucking laptop all the way here? Ridiculous.
And your microphone, I'm guessing.
Well, I had all my stuff with me, but
yeah, it's
just for whatever reason. I will say, Kale's been trying to watch the video and she can't even watch it.
What video?
So I think it's the fact that there's 3 videos coming through, or one being sent and then 2 videos coming in at the same time. It's just too much data for it to handle.
Oh, what? It just can't deal data down that way.
Yeah, it just can't. She's trying to watch it because I'm guessing it must send rather than it processing and sending one video of the 3 of us. It's obviously sending 3 separate videos down the line. So if you've not got fast enough internet connection, it just doesn't like it. Doesn't like it in the slightest.
So unfortunately, you had to go holidaying instead of working.
Yeah, disgraceful. Fucking disgraceful. How's your game going?
I've been ready for weeks, but I keep on adding a little stuff. Just little stuff. I'm a little nervous because I again, just remind people, I am running it. I am doing all the updates via AI help. I'm using Grok, which is X's Elon Musk's AI, and we do all right. It's just it's funny, you know. Besides, okay, but first of all, yes, it's basically done. I just uploaded the new builds to iOS and Android, and it's just going through the review process, and then people will be able to actually choose their own truck type, their trailer size, and their axle position. Now, I have made, because the levels are made for a certain size trailer, I have the option to actually lock that trailer size on particular levels, so they don't get to choose the trailer size. You know, like on the normal, there's like 290 regular levels on all the normal levels. Yeah, and you can choose your trailer size, and you can do anything you want, but you won't be able to get 3 stars. So in order to get 3 stars, it'll be a message that pops up saying, like, hey, you might want to use that a 53-foot trailer to get that extra star. Or if they use the tiny little yard truck on a 53-foot trailer, you're going to have to use a sleeper truck. And
that's quite clever then. So they can redo levels later on, like they can keep passing, and then they can always go back and try and complete the stars.
And if you as well, I added a feature where if you use the long nose truck, which is a harder truck to maneuver, you actually get a spinning star if you get 3 stars. So like a little animation, a little extra bonus there if you So I did a lot of stuff like that, and like. There was like I added numbers to every single level. If the levels that are locked or the levels that you're not able to click on yet, I actually added numbers to that before there wasn't. Just this is a bunch of stuff that I wanted done years ago, but I didn't. I was like, it was never on the top of the list of priorities. So the fact that I'm able to do that kind of shit myself, it's just absolutely great. But now speaking to AI though, sometimes I'll ask a question, and like it could be now I'm hoping for a yes/no answer. And like, but he gives me this, God knows how many words, just a ridiculous amount. And then he ends up rewriting all the 3 scripts that he just like, why did you do that? Seriously, I was just looking for a yes or no answer. Why can't you do that? I'm not reading anything that you're saying. All right. Most of the stuff that you do type out, I'm not actually reading. All right. I want the modification of the script so I can copy and paste it and then I'll test it. All right. All this stuff you're writing, just stop it. Just seriously. Can you not? Okay. And then, and then he goes, and like, no. Meaning as in like, because all I wanted was a yes and no answer. And like, so, but he did reply back with a no. But that didn't mean it. But I seriously, I'm constantly yelling. I'm like, because he's in code. It's just little, if you don't want the actual, you can put a hashtag or, a number sign. What they're called hashtags, but if you add a hashtag and then you can add whatever you want after that, and it doesn't get included in the actual running of the script. But he's constantly deleting those. They're basically comments of what's going on. They're just a comment that is hidden that you can see, but it doesn't actually do anything. But he's deleting them. Like, will you stop deleting the hashtag comments? Oh, sorry. Thank you very much for calling me out on that. And it's just there's a bunch of stuff. I'm like, I get really frustrated. I thank God he doesn't hold a grudge yet.
Why is he deleting the hashtag comments though?
Because he's trying to clean everything up. I'm like, but I didn't ask you to do that. It's just stop doing it because it has no function. Because it has nothing whatsoever. It doesn't need it. You know what I mean? It's just more for my own benefit. So like,
help?
With Gemini, and by the way, we're getting fucking far too deep.
You guys love AI.
Here. With Gemini, it just keeps adding fucking like the hashes throughout, and I'm just getting fucking comments and comments and comments. And I start reading through it, and I'm like, this one here basically says the exact same thing as this one here, and then that one there is saying something about the one up there.
Yeah, the handy thing is you could just say to her, like, hey, do me a favor, get rid of all these hashtags, but there's a crazy amount of those little comments. But one thing I learned, it is like I still get absolutely amazed every day, every time I use Gemini on my phone. Because I talk into it, I don't type into Gemini, I literally talk. But there's an option where there's a camera option where you can actually, it can see. It can see. There was this object. So I was driving by. And there's this person. They were throwing this thing out. I'm like, what is that? Is that like I was wondering, as in like, is that because I just bought a garden hose that's really long. I was like, oh, I really wish I had some. But it looked like they were throwing something like that away, a garden hose holder or whatever, right? I'm like, I don't think it is. I'm like, so I opened up a Gemini and I turned on the camera. I'm like, what is this? What am I looking at? Here's what it does. Oh, that's a compost tumbler. I'm like.
What?
Really? She just knows. It just sees stuff and just knows. I don't know. It's just absolutely. I still can't get over it. I'm sorry. I'm such a geek. I geek out about it, or I'm obsessed with the whole AI. It's just it helps. It just helps me with stuff that I don't know, and it's amazing. I did try
I must use it. I must use it at least 5 times a day.
Really?
On a quiet day. Yeah,
except for unless you're actually doing some coding and all that kind of stuff. But on a regular, on a normal,
on a normal, at the least, if I will use it every single day at least 5 times. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll use it constantly throughout the day, like asking it a variety of questions and Just crazy.
I feel like it feels like an advertisement. Oh yeah, you know what I can do now? On Chrome, if you click on your icon on the top of Chrome, it actually does. You can have Gemini look at your screen, and so it can actually see stuff, and instead of like not point the camera at the screen, but on the actual web browser, on your computer, it actually will see your screen and actually read everything and stuff.
That's quite
cool. If you wanted to, like, obviously, you know what I mean, as in like. But I found that very handy when it comes to like, okay, seriously, you're giving me advice. Stop assuming stuff. Oh yeah, by the way, they love to assume. All right, because you haven't given them all the facts. They're like, try to fill in the blanks. I'm like, I told you, stop filling in the bloody blanks. Stop assuming stuff. If you need any, go on.
Have you had it dream yet?
Dream?
Yes.
I don't understand.
So what?
This is where it doesn't. Where there's no clear. So this happens. I've had it twice with Gemini, where it's just made things up. It's just straight up made things up. It did it once, I think maybe for Farming Simulator. I think it was, or where it asked it to do something in particular, and it was like, do this, click on this, go into this option here, and then do this. I'm like, that option doesn't exist. That's not possible. And so I'm like looking around, trying to work it out, trying to do it all. And eventually I figure out you can't do it, but that's not an option for it. It doesn't understand that this thing cannot be done. So it just assumes this is how it's done.
Yeah,
and it just makes it up. It just fucking just straight up makes it up. And then it did it for something else the other week where, oh, that was right. Tortoises in Cyprus. I was like, I said, are the tortoises in Cyprus? So technically, yes, there are.
At a zoo?
It knows that there are, but those are in a zoo.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I ask it, where can I find these? I said, what sort of places do I look to find one of these? It then says, well, you need to find a rocky terrain, this and that and the other. And I says, what sort of species are there? And it was saying this. But at no point did it say that these fucking things were in a zoo. So there's me thinking I can go out and find a fucking tortoise. No, you cannot.
Yeah, okay, so that's happened a lot. It does, especially when it comes to trying to figure out how a program works or whatever, right? It says, go to this part, go to this, and like, no, why are you saying that? Why are you telling me something that's not that's not a fact? I only want to know facts right now. All right, you only tell me something if you're unsure. I get very annoyed. Is all it is. You know what I mean? And like, I know this is huge, and this is way better than having an employee that I'm paying thousands of dollars a month for. You know what I mean? Because I'm paying like $30 for Grok. And that's it. So I'm getting a deal. And but just sometimes I just want to stop assuming, because that's basically. Why does a lot of...
I have one for you. Another one.
Go on.
My son's Chrome. I think he's got malware is what I think he's got now. Looking at it, so my son's Chrome is crashing on launch. So you get a flash and it just shuts it down.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was trying to get Gemini. Now I think the Google people have put in, basically made it so that. It kind of goes through troubleshooting for you, assuming, people are going to ask this. But at no point is on anywhere the troubleshooting does it say if Chrome does not launch. So I'm like, right, Chrome's not launching. It's doing this and this. Says what could be causing it? It says, well, it could be the extensions that could be causing it. Right? Okay. So how do I disable the extensions? Okay. First, you need to close all tabs in Chrome, apart from one, and then click the first 3 dots in the top right corner.
Mm-hmm.
But Chrome's not launching. I understand. Launch Chrome and click the top 3 dots, the top 3 dots at the top right, whatever it is. I'm like, but Gemini, Chrome isn't launching. I cannot get into Chrome. It's dead. It's dead, Chrome. It's dead. I understand. Sorry about that. Launch Chrome, and it's just not fucking happening for me at all. I'm just going round and round in circles for this. And so you have to ask very specific questions of like, okay, is there a way without launching Chrome that I can do this? Yes. You can try it one of two ways. First, launch Chrome and do this. Like, no, not that one. Not that one.
What was the second option, though?
The second one was doing something which didn't work either.
I had the exact same problem yesterday, by the way. Right after I actually did a whole Chrome thing, I did a Gemini thing, and that was kind of weird. I couldn't launch it. It was just funny that it was the same problem. But yeah, I just turned my computer on and off again, and it worked. But did you try that, Tom?
Or something?
Try turning it on and off. Yeah, I tried that one. Thanks, mate. I can appreciate that.
Well, I'm just saying, it didn't sound like you did. It just kept on. You sound like you just kept asking Gemini.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah.
it did it, and then a few days later, because I put Opera GX on there, Opera GX started doing the exact same thing. So I think he's got malware on there. I think he's been downloading something stupid.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, we could always download something else.
Well, just go through
Internet
every operating,
Explorer.
all of them.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Until it all goes wrong. Do you know what I found on Google earlier?
Yes.
You know, like Logan's obsessed with his Pokemon now.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
keeps asking me to Google certain Pokemon. I've discovered you can catch Pokemon on Google.
What?
Yeah. How random is that? That's like AI
How?
stuff as well, isn't it? You literally go into Google, search a Pokemon. It's got to be like the original Pokemon, and then it comes up with a little Pokeball, and then you press it, and then it goes and catches your Pokemon ball, and then it like starts like trying to ask you to figure out more Pokemon. So it'll show you like a blank image with like an out silhouette, and then you got to work out what it is, and then you search it, and then you can catch that one as well. It's really lame but cool.
That's
That
very
was just
cool.
my AI input there, you know. I was zoning
Like
out, so because I'm like not making a game, so I felt a bit left out.
No, I liked it. Yeah.
I feel
That's
like
very good.
skip and run would be.
Do we
a
have
good one,
Facts
but-
and Wife? I think we have
No, we
Facts and Wife.
No. Well, we don't. I'm not prepared. If we are, sorry.
You should be sorry.
Unbelievable.
Why are you not prepared for this?
Yeah, you should have known this was going to come up.
Well, it was like every 2 weeks. You didn't show up last week, and then it was just more
Yeah.
like,
So this is the second week. So it's 2 weeks.
Yeah, you've had like weeks to. prepare.
no,
You've had so long to prepare, David.
it's once a month. We get Facts of Wife.
And when was it last done?
3 weeks ago.
That's about a month ago.
I
Yeah.
know, but it should have been 2 weeks ago because of last week. Somebody didn't have an internet connection.
But we delayed it for a week, so she should have done one. Disgraceful.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll catch up next week. I'll make sure there's Facts of Wife next week. What are the little side things that we do again? I just feel like we all came really unprepared and like,
Yeah,
what are
we
we
did,
doing?
'cause
What are we
I was
doing
trying to-
again?
Because we missed last week, I was trying to remember like something happened to me, and I've been
How
trying
do
to
we
sat here
podcast?
thinking
Yes,
about.
I
what I've done.
apologize. It's just I don't know. I watched Kids.
Do you want to rephrase that?
I watched children.
While my kids are in daycare, I go off and I watch Kids. Is it?
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. I want to get back to truck driving. I miss it. but-
yeah.
I do and I don't. I like the whole getting up whenever I want to get up. You know. Hey, I have a question? This is a kind of more of a. So, do you ever find? I find myself on when I first wake up in the morning because I want to get some lights in me before I get on TikTok or I'm on YouTube Shorts or whatever. Basically, it's always some short videos, and I don't have to get up. Like this morning, as like I know the kids are awake. My wife's watching them, and I'm like, am I really choosing TikTok videos over hanging out with my kids?
Yeah.
And it just made me kind of feel shitty. I was like, I really am. Did I put my phone down? No, I kept going. And it's just like, come on, David, what are you doing? I'm literally having a conversation. Why don't you just just is that what we're doing
Did you
though?
tell them to
We
shut
do
up
that
as
a
well
lot.
when they were being noisy.
Huh?
Shut up! I'm doing one videos.
I don't know. I just find I get annoyed with myself. I'm like, why are you doing this? There's just I don't know. There is an addiction factor to it, and then it's just easy. It's safe in a way,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, I don't have to. It's easier to just sit down here and just go
Sometimes,
and just
yeah.
flick,
Yeah.
you know, keep swiping, you know. And I get very disappointed with myself. I just wish I could not be on my phone ever. I just can't, you know. But do you ever find yourself just like you know, you could hang out with your kids, but you find yourself just on videos instead? Does that happen to you guys?
Sometimes,
Yes, yeah,
if I'm
I
honest,
sometimes, yeah.
I
I
try
mean,
not to. But
it's not
sometimes you
crack,
just suddenly
is it? So
find
that's better,
yourself
that's
there.
Yeah, I get
Oh.
disappointed as well, you know. And it's just like because I do it's going to be the exact same thing every day, you know. It is going to be you know, well, chances are when I go upstairs they might be on the tablet, or they might be watching video, you know, might be playing games or whatever, you know. And it's just like all right, let's just go through the whole routine, you know. All right, like a lot of times I go upstairs and they're doing it now. Okay, I'll go straight back to my phone again, you know. I was like, sure, what was the point? I was more comfortable in my bed. But yeah,
It does
I don't know.
get really addictive though.
I would love to just not
Yeah.
have my phone as an option, you know. Like we have talked about buying that little box that has a lock on it and a timer, and we got to throw our phones in there, you know. And that would be nice. But
Yeah, you can put that on your phone. You could get your phone to just lock out on certain apps and stuff.
yeah, I did that, but you have the
Scary.
password, and I unlock it. Yeah, I did that with a bunch of apps, but I just kept on, you know, just add another 30 minutes.
Have you
another
asked
30 minutes.
Gemini to like stop you? Do you think Gemini would do it if you said, "Don't let me touch my phone for an hour"?
I'm
And then
sure
if you
she'd tell
tried
me
to
how to
use
do it.
She would go, "Get off, leave it out."
Yeah.
Don't
Fuck
touch me.
off.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out
Go
of
and
it.
look at your.
Especially when the
kids'
weather's
YouTube
nice and all
video.
that kind of stuff. It's just that I love being on my phone. I really do. It's relaxing. Sometimes, you know, like I know, because I know my youngest, the 2-year-old, we're going down a dark path with him when it comes to screen time. He's swiping and pausing, and you know, he'll look at something for like 4 seconds, and then he'll touch the screen and he'll swipe that little bunch of other videos and tap that, and then make the screen bigger. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God, he's getting really good at it too. But it was like, oh no, we got to stop this. We really do. And it's just sometimes we need to have that little, what we're doing, you know, and then it's getting him off that. I'm like, oh my God, we are such bad parents. You know, we just, it's just easier to have him do that. And it breaks my heart that.
It is easy. Logan watches too much tablets, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
Logan comes out in the lorry with me and he watches way too much.
Oh, I imagine so. Is he going to be hanging out with you this summer? I was trying to ask him the question, but he didn't answer me before the podcast started.
We were watching fucking all sorts, like Saturday mornings. You got up and all you did was stare, and parents were like saying the same things then about that. It's no different.
It's
I suppose you're right. Yeah,
you've got so
every day
much
when you
more,
came home
haven't
from
you?
school, you watch your cartoons.
True.
You know, and then
I mean, a lot of them you were watching it just because there was nothing. You were waiting for one of the good programs to come on, and so you had to switch between 1 and 3 depending.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, there was always that kind of.
Dude, I was curious
And then
about
there was
this.
that one time when Princess Diana died. There was no fucking cartoons on at all.
So
dare she?
I was talking to my wife about this now, right? And like, what is the difference between watching a 3-hour or a 2-hour movie or being on TikTok for 2 hours? Because I was like, what's like, why are we not complaining about videos? Why is it okay to watch a movie and not be on TikTok? As in, like, we're getting entertained. And then she answered me in a way, as in like, well, you're getting stimulated nonstop with TikTok videos. You know what I mean? It's just you're getting the best of all the videos, you know. But in a movie, it's got an up and down. You know what I mean? You got a story going on, and so and I was like, oh yeah, that is a little different. Even with your 30-minute videos, you know, that you're watching when you were younger after school or whatever, right? It's not an entire stimulant video. So it's like, so it is a little different, and you don't really get to choose. If you get bored, you kind of like, you know, doze off, but you know, you kind of drift away, and then you come back.
Yeah.
But if you get bored on watching a video on TikTok, you swipe. You swipe. There we go. Now I'm stimulated again. Swipe. Okay, I'm not done. I'm not stimulated. So you just got to keep going. And so there is a difference. So I was just it was a good answer. I was like, hey, I really appreciate that answer.
Clever answer.
Yeah. But so
Makes
yeah.
you feel bad again when you say it like that. I start to feel good about it, and then.
But then again, they said this like
now.
Because when books were starting to kind of become more popularized, like people were saying, like there was like people were saying like how like kids are getting too much into books and they're forgetting about the real. This is genuine. This is a genuine thing. And then the same thing when radio came along, then when the TV came along, then it was always the same thing. I don't know. I mean, it's one of them things where it's in moderation, I guess. But
well,
I don't.
Phones replace papers. Remember, like people were like nonstop reading papers. That's no difference being on a cell phone. And it's just you're just you're stimulating yourself when you're bored. You know what I mean? It's just like But I was there was this one video I saw today where I was like, if you're giving your 2-year-old a tablet, and like that's the worst thing you could do because he's not learning how to be bored. He needs to learn how to be bored. If otherwise he's going to be an absolute nightmare to control because he's going to not nonstop need to be stimulated. And so that's like, oh boy, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see that video. I don't want to be told that. I want to be ignorant. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that, but no, I do. I will say, now.
I actually, you know what? A lot of these TikTok parenting videos are bollocks because they're all fucking. But I will actually say, I do kind of agree with that. I distinctly remember like that boredom when I was a kid and like trying to work out what I should do and like kind of coming up with whatever it was, and then. I remember like building like massive tracks of like things for my Matchbox cars to go down, just because I had nothing else to do. But then I don't know. Is that not like? Does that not happen now? Just in a different way? I don't really know.
Or just in a virtual way?
Yeah.
Then again, maybe I'm preventing him from being like video games. All right, my kid loves video games now, particularly one. It's called Astrobot. All right, and it's fantastic. Astrobot is definitely my favorite game out there. I could play that game professionally. How good I am at that game now, nearly. There is a lot better people out there, but I've gotten really good at it. But Desmond, like watching his progress, like I remember a year ago where he didn't even know how to turn the camera. Because it's a you're controlling a 3D character, third person view, and you can move the camera around, with your sticks, whatever, right? And he struggled so hard, he couldn't. He would be facing a wall the entire time. I don't know how to not face the wall. Because when you change the camera, that means that actually changes the control on the right too. Like first of all, you're going forward, but if you change the camera, well, now you're turning, at the same time. So it's But watching him now, he finished one of the games in like a morning, where it's just all the levels and like it's just I love seeing that progress. How good he is now. He's able to do multiple stuff at once. He knows all the buttons. I'm so proud. I just like the way he can actually, but only on a handheld controller. He can't do the PC. There's just the buttons.
It also gets exciting when it's like that because then you can actually start playing with them as well, like 2-player games and that.
So we do a lot of that. I considered playing video games with him, as long as I'm next to him, kind of like not as bad as screen time because we're interacting, we're sharing, we're going back and forth and we're talking about it. It's just so that's not so bad. It's just yeah.
So the game that me and Ollie have is something called Terraria. And it's a game that me and him have played for years and years and years and years. Like, it's a game that I've played for longer than he's been alive. But it's something that, but it's now become like we have these phases where we go through it every now and then, and we just get fully into Terraria, like fully into Terraria. Like we're waiting for the new update 1.4.5, which we've been waiting for like a year and a half for this update, and we've got like a whole action plan of what we're going to do when it comes out, and I'm very excited for it. But like it's nice because like when he comes round, he's got like a lot of Terraria merch, like the like t-shirts, stuff like that. His birthday's coming up, and he's going to get more like. I don't know. It's kind of like it's our thing is Terraria. It's kind of like a sacred thing for us, and it's really nice to have that with him. It's really really nice to have that with him.
That's cool.
That is.
Yeah. You can share
trying to get
childhood with him.
I'm trying to get him to do other games. You know, it's just there's a learning curve to it. There's this. Have you heard of Sackboy?
I've heard of it.
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
He's like a little doll that is a stuffed doll kind of thing, you know. And it's again, it's just a third person view game, you know. Like it's very kid friendly, you know. There's a bit of, it's kind of like puzzles or whatever, you know. But as in like, but we keep on drifting back to Astrobot because we really know how to play that. We have finished Astrobot probably, I don't know, 6 times. We get like 3 save areas, you know, and we've constantly having to reset them. Because we were running. Because if the game gets too hard, he gets very frustrated and he starts yelling it. And like, remember now, well, do you want to restart? And then we can get to easy levels because you're rescuing bots. You're basically rescuing like 330 different bots, and you know, like let's just restart, and that way he can relax and not be so frustrated. Because at the end, like I got to give it to the game. They've made it extremely hard at the end to get these extra bots where you just no save points. You got to go through a crazy amount of different obstacles because it's basically an obstacle course, you know. And it's just I've been frustrated like hell, like where like I gotta walk away. I'm done. What's wrong? I'm getting angry. I gotta walk. I'm sorry. I'll come back to it another time.
That's quite funny.
I am getting so frustrated right now that I keep dying. But
well, see, Ollie gets like that where he doesn't like the it doesn't like getting too hard. He gives up quite. But then with Terraria, fuck me, he's good with it. Like
yeah.
There's 2 bosses which are there's something called the Moon Lord and there's the Empress of Light. The Empress of Light is known as probably one of the hardest bosses in the game, and I was just dying by just death. I'm watching it, and I'm looking at his screen. He's still going at it, like still battling it. And at the end of it, we won, and he's like, "Wow, we won." I'm like, honestly, that's really nice of you, but no, you won that.
I love it.
I just sat and died the entire game.
When he does finish a level, a lot of times he hands the controller off to one of us parents, and sometimes we were like, "No, just keep going." I'm like, no, he just starts to huge fit. I'm like, just try again. And then when he does get it himself, he's so happy. He's so proud of himself. And like, and it's like, see, didn't we tell you could do it? It's just that the monster looked really bad. You know what I mean? Because it was a big, huge gorilla that's the size of the screen, and it's like it looks kind of like very intimidating. But then he realized, like, oh, wait, no, it's not. It's not actually that hard at all. It just looked like it was that hard. And so yeah. But anyway, that's so yeah, he's playing video games now, which is awesome. But sometimes
it is more fun.
We got to. I was saying too, as in like, if I stopped a video game, because you know there's kids out there who literally basically have no restriction whatsoever on video games. You know, they basically have never from the very start. Parents that didn't give a crap. They weren't bothering the parents, so they throw them in, and then they've become like superstars in the gaming world, you know, and they're just the best, and they've made fortunes, you know, the YouTubing and streaming and all that kind of thing. So if you were strict on them, they wouldn't be that. You know what I mean? As in, like, so sometimes it's like you never know which is the right thing to do. For all you know, as in like your kid breaks all his bones in his body because you made him play outside. You know, so which is the right thing to do? So you can't predict it. You know what I mean? You got guidance, and let's just hope that guidance actually works. But yeah, so I sometimes like to like, you know what? He's fine, probably. You know, we'll see. But
just don't know. As long as he's happy, that's all I say. As long as they're happy. And happy.
Sometimes not too happy though. We got to keep him down to earth a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to upset him occasionally.
Keep your children happy, but not that happy. That's the advice.
Not too happy. Yeah.
Right. Well, on that note, thank you so much for listening. If you haven't listened, how did you get this far? But we shall see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Right, thank you so much for listening. I have to do this very quickly because I have to go for a poo. So we're just going to do this really, really quickly.
You don't need to say that. You just do it quickly.
Thank you for all the patrons. We've got I'm Having an Orgasm, Jack Goodwin, Justin Reedy, Phil Starkey, Stephen Patterson. This month's giving... Oh, fuck, so much stress and panic right now. This month's giveaway winner is Truck and Nozzer. They're two different people. Big Mike, Gavin Williams, Neil Rees, David Frindo, Ranking Master. You guys are all fucking legends. Thank you very much for that. We shall see you next time. Bye-bye.